While millions of Ukrainians flee the country, many are staying to help fight, either on the front lines or through humanitarian efforts. Lesia Vazlenko is a member of the Ukrainian parliament who is staying in the country and using her Twitter account to document her family's and her fellow countrymen's quest for safety. And she joins us now. Welcome. Thank you so much for making the time for us. And first of all, how are you and your family holding up?
Thank you, and I'm fine, and my family is fine and safe, and that is what matters the most these days. But in fact, I just want to have a correction. I am at this point, as we speak, in Strasbourg, working with 8 other members of parliament from Ukraine, all women that are here presenting our country at the European Parliament and also at the Council of Europe's extraordinary session dedicated to kicking Russia out from the Council of Europe. This is very important for us right now, as Ukraine has made a bid for EU membership, and Ukraine has made a bid for all kinds of sanctions, including a no-fly zone over Ukraine to EU member states and to Council of Europe member states. So essentially, we're here on a diplomatic mission to save Ukraine.
Understood. I apologize. I didn't know that, but very important work. When we talk about the no-fly zone, I know that Ukrainians have been begging for that for a while now. What is your response when European countries, NATO, the U.S. say we can't inject ourselves that directly in a fight against Putin and the Russians for fear of World War III, and because both countries are armed with nuclear weapons?
I say that the word that is missing at the end of the sentence is yet, because the world is in World War III. That war started on the 24th of February 2022, when Russia declared its attacks on Ukraine. And that war will go on with millions of victims in Ukraine and outside of Ukraine if the world and the global leaders don't act now. This has already happened in history back in 1938, when Hitler was allowed to proceed with his atrocities all across Europe, just because the US and certain other countries didn't want to repeat to get involved in another war, in another world war, remembering the tragedy of World War I. What is happening now is history repeating itself.
Understood. I want to play a clip from your president, Volodymyr Zelensky. He's speaking about what he's doing to help the country.
I'm not hiding, and I'm not afraid of anyone. As much as it takes to win this patriotic war of ours, we must realize that every day of struggle, every day of resistance creates better conditions for us.
So how is Parliament's relationship with President Zelensky? And also, this is the same president who was elected in 2019. He was a comedian. A lot of people didn't take him seriously, but this has evolved, and he's really emerged as a very brave leader who's admired all over the world.
So I think that I will be very objective here, because I'm actually from an opposition party, which often disagreed with the decisions coming from the office of the president and coming from the ruling party. But at this point in time, we all stand with the president. Without exception, every single party in the Ukrainian parliament supports the policies and the strategy which Zelensky has taken, because he stands with his army and he stands with his people. And we are all together in this. Ukraine has only its people, and its people, Ukrainians, only have Ukraine. So our goal now is to keep standing all together and make sure that our country wins. And our president has been a great inspiration in all of this that we are in for the last 16 days.
And I hate to ask you about the biggest challenges, because they're just so immense, and we know what the biggest challenges are. But when you think about the biggest challenges and the Ukrainian government is facing in keeping people safe and in ending this conflict, what are they?
The biggest challenges is the bombs and the Russian missiles which are falling on the cities. And the worst cases are, of course, in the cities which are besieged by the Russian army, such as Mariupol, an industrial town on the shores of the Sea of Azov in the east of Ukraine, a town of coal mining where there are no water resources. Literally, people have to melt snow to get some water to drink. A child there, Tatiana, who was only 8 years old, she died of dehydration. Providing the humanitarian basic needs such as food and water for thousands of inhabitants of cities like Mariupol is growing to be a challenge for Ukraine that even with our best efforts we cannot meet. Why we can't meet this challenge? Because Russia is saying no to green corridors to evacuate civilians. Every time they seem to agree on green corridors for Mariupol particularly, they are shooting at civilians, at women, at children who are getting out or trying to get out. So, but by now they are actually blatantly saying, no, we're not going to get anyone out of Mariupol. We're not going to let anyone out. And this is the biggest challenge, because we don't know how to negotiate around that. And we don't know how to save all the civilians who are trapped in these mincemeters created by Russia in territories of Ukraine.
I was just going to ask you about those humanitarian corridors and how someone like you goes about negotiating. I understand there have been peace talks. They've all failed. But how do you negotiate with someone like Putin, especially given these humanitarian corridors haven't been honored?
Putin only understands force, and he can only reckon with force. So this is why we are constantly making the appeal to the international community, to all our partner states, to help us with the no-fly zone, to help us with the weapons, to help us with a more robust presence in the ground and in our seas and in the air. Because alone, Putin knows that we cannot take on his million-man army. So, of course, in such a situation, we need the support. We need the support to show him that the force he is reckoning with and the force that is standing behind Ukraine is far greater than anything he has ever reckoned with. And this is the only chance that we have at combating Putin, number one, and at pushing him back, and the only chance that we have as an international community, as a global community of free-loving democratic nations to fight back at an authoritarian empire which wants to find a space for itself in the world. We must not let that happen. In the 21st century, there is no place for empires.
All right, Lesia Veslenko, good luck with everything. Our thoughts are with you. Stay safe, and thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.